Hi, I'm Rihanna and welcome to my presentation of Assignment 3, which is a child's bedroom made in Unreal Engine 5. I use the Unreal Engine CubeGrid tool to set up the structure and use assets, materials and decals from Unreal Engine Marketplace and Quixel Bridge. I also edited some key assets using Quixel Mixer and Adobe Photoshop and created some of my own decals using Photoshop as well. I'm now going to walk you through the level as I explain the decisions I made and why I made them. The child's bedroom I designed is set in the 1970s since this is when the child went missing. But this is not the current decade the player is exploring this home in, so I wanted to design and furnish a hallway section just outside of the bedroom to show that our character is exploring this house somewhere between possibly 1990 and 2010. I added a semi-modern style table beside the front door and a digital clock to help tell what decade it might be. The clock says the time is 12:30, and because there is still daylight outside, this shows that it is the afternoon. I kept the lighting natural and semi-dark to add a somber tone to this house, since it is the home of a mother whose 8-year-old child went missing, and the mother has never fully recovered from this. The location of the home is difficult to demonstrate, but as the player you would know that you're in Minnesota, America, from playing the first portion of this game. Since the house appears reasonably large, you could assume it's in a suburban area. I built a room at the end of the hallway with a dining chair and table to add to the fact that this is indeed someone's home. And again, I left this room quite dark and empty to keep with the somber tone. Walking down the hallway to the right, I have placed a somewhat modern style door to juxtapose the older looking door and frame for the child's 70s style bedroom. Inside the bedroom, you can see that it belongs to a child as I added a lot of toys, childlike drawings, and glow in the dark stars to the ceiling. I added an exponential height fog in Unreal Engine to emphasize the dustiness and to reduce saturation of the colors to again add to a depressing mood. I did, however, make this the area of the house that displays the most light. This was for two reasons. One, to help guide the player into this room to explore, but also to show that this is where the mother's happiness still resides. Although this room looks rather lived in, as the player you know that the child went missing in the 70s, so this shows that the grieving mother has left the child's bedroom untouched and in the same condition the child had left it in. To the left of the door frame, I've added a decal I created of a child's height chart. I wrote the child's age beside each line, which I then followed by what the current date would have been. From this decal, we can see that the child's measurements have stopped at age 8. And that these were all recorded in the 70s. To the left of the bedroom, I have added a lot of toys as well as dress-up items. This was to show the playful nature and imagination of the child. I have also included items such as a butterfly net and glass jars to show that this child probably liked to explore outside and collect items from nature. To the right of the bedroom, I have the child's desk, which is an asset I edited myself. I used a warm wood material to keep it in the 70s era and added dents and scribbles to show that this belonged to a possibly difficult child. I chose to create an etching in the wood that says Brave Daniel. From this, the player can tell that the child's name is Daniel and that he liked to think of himself as brave. On the desk and just above it, on a shelf, I have placed rocks, sticks, and a bird's nest to again show that this child was adventurous in nature. Further down the bedroom, I have placed a chalkboard, which I also edited myself. As with the desk, I added marks and dents as well as scribbles to the wood area. The drawings on the board are the most important aspect of this asset. One drawing depicts Brave Daniel, which is to emphasize this aspect of Daniel's personality, and another drawing shows a possible map through wood and hill area that Daniel wanted to or was exploring. This naively drawn map is a possible hint as to Daniel's disappearance. Hanging from the ceiling is a rocket toy that I also edited myself. I placed the toy in this way to show that Daniel would imagine this rocket flying around his room and that he had a very powerful imagination. I used a warm wood material as well as red and blue elements commonly found on 70s wooden toys. Again, I added dents and marks, especially to the front area where a toy such as this might take damage. I also added drawing decals that I created myself of this rocket to a book on the floor and also to the chalkboard. This was to emphasize Daniel's love for this toy and how his imagination was somewhat escapist. At the end of the bedroom, behind the bed, I have designed and arranged assets in a way to tell a story of something sinister that has just happened. As the player, you have been called out to this house to reopen a missing child's case, as there has been a break-in to this unoccupied child's bedroom. To show that there has been a break-in, I have placed a muddy footprint on the windowsill, as well as broken glass on the floor. I also chose to edit the circular rug to show where the intruder walked to. I added muddy footprints leading to the bedside table. I added damage as well as grit to the rug, since it is beside a window where debris is likely to blow in. The main asset in this scenario, which I edited myself, is the soiled book on the bedside table that the intruder left behind. I designed the cover to represent a 60s or 70s child's book, and named it The Tales of Brave Jack. The title of this book shows that Daniel's etchings and drawing of Brave Daniel are likely to be associated with this book, and that Daniel looked up to this fictional character. I added severe damage to this book to show that it has been outside in the elements, and that this is where the intruder found it, shown by the muddy handprint on the cover. This shows that possibly the child met their fate outside. Whoever returned this book likely knows where Daniel is and what happened to him, but since the intruder chose to return the item to the mother, they are most likely not the perpetrator, or at least feel sorry for being responsible or partially responsible for the child's death. The player will still have unanswered questions after exploring this bedroom, but this is the first important level where they will learn about the personality of Daniel and note possible clues as to his disappearance. That's all for the walkthrough of Daniel's bedroom and house. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.